don't come. The whole body stop. So yeah. Cause we all get lost sometimes, you know. It's how we learn and how we grow. You can try, but you'll never forget her name. Hope you don't mind if I waited. Would you mind if I waited? Remind me while we're taking a break. It's obviously insane, cause we both know what we want. So how do we fall in love? I hate, I love, I hate that I love you. Don't want, but I can't put nobody else above you. From the rocking boat, I just wanna stay afloat. I'm all alone. I don't need love. I don't
It's called the Fest Hub, and you are here, so just say the band in the house. Can you tell all of you?
Yeah. Let me tell myself. Let me tell myself. Talk to me.
Remember those walls I built? But baby, they tumbling down. And they didn't even put up a fight. They didn't even make a sound.
Feeling used, but I'm still missing you. And it hurts me every time I see you. Realize how much I need you.
You don't ever want to step off that roller coaster before you know. Now start hurting come. The whole body stop.
So yeah.
Cause we all get lost sometimes, you know. It's how we learn and how we grow.
You can try, but you'll never forget her name.
Hope you don't mind if I waited. Would you mind if I waited?
Remind me while we're taking a break. It's obviously insane, cause we both know what we want. So how do we fall in love? I hate, I love, I hate that I love you. Don't want, but I can't put nobody else above you.
From the rocking boat, I just wanna stay afloat. I'm all alone. I don't need love. I don't.
Talk dirty to me.
walls are built, but baby, they tumbling down. And they didn't even put up a fight. They didn't even make a sound.
Feeling used, but I'm still missing you. And it hurts me every time I see you. Realize how much I need you. You don't ever want to step off that roller coaster before you know. Before you know. Now start hurting. Oh, for the thought. So yeah. Cause we all get lost sometimes, you know. It's how we learn and how we grow.
You can try, but you'll never forget her name.
Hope you don't mind if I waited. Would you mind if I waited?
Remind me while we're taking a break. It's obviously insane, cause we both know what we want. So how do we fall
I hate you, I love you. I hate that I love you. Don't want to, but I can't put nobody else above you. What we used to be. Yeah. When we stand, I say. When we stand, I say. Dirty to me.
Come on, save me from the rocking boat. I just wanna stay afloat. I'm all alone.
I don't even know. Yeah. When we stand, I say. When we stand, I say. Dirty to me.
Remember those walls I built, but baby, they tumbling down. And they didn't even put up a fight. They didn't even make a sound.
Feeling used, but I'm still missing you. And it hurts me every time I see you. Realize how much I need you. You don't ever want to step off that roller coaster before you know. Before you know. Now start hurting. Oh, for the thought. So yeah. Cause we all get lost sometimes, you know. It's how we learn and how we grow.
You can try, but you'll never forget her name.
Hope you don't mind if I waited. Would you mind if I waited?
Remind me while we're taking a break. It's obviously insane, cause we both know what we want. So how do we fall
I hate you, I love you. I hate that I love you. Don't want to, but I can't put nobody else above you. What we used to be. Yeah. When we stand, I
Save me from the rocking boat. I just wanna stay afloat. I'm
walls I built, but baby, they tumbling down. And they didn't even put up a fight. They didn't even make a sound.
Feeling used, but I'm still missing you. Hurts me every time I see you. Realize how much I need you. You don't ever want to step off that roller coaster.
We used to now's our curtain call.
Will you take it?
Can't tell.
Yeah. Turn it off, turn it off.
Cause we all get lost sometimes, you know. It's how we learn and how we.
You can try, but you'll never forget her name.
If I waited.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, thank you. Right, first of all, can you hear me at the back with this microphone? That's a yes, right, wonderful. Right, first of all, once again, welcome to Accelerator Frankfurt's Demo Day, the first of its kind. And today is something quite different and quite special, certainly here in Frankfurt and probably in Germany as well. We've actually got a special day where we bring together the ecosystem of Frankfurt and the outer perimeter as well, coming together for a very special day, showcasing really what Frankfurt has to offer in terms of becoming a startup hub, not just for Germany, but certainly Europe and the rest of the world as well. Before we go any further, just let me introduce myself. My name is Peter Hopwood, and I am a pitch coach. I'm a communications trainer, and I help startups and people tell stories, tell better stories. And today, this afternoon, we are going to hear quite a few different stories, let me tell you. And by the end of it, hopefully you can walk away, again, feeling even more confident about what Frankfurt really has to offer, and also some ideas and information as well about what Frankfurt really is all about. A few things before we start to get going. We are here in this room this afternoon in Frankfurt. However, there are many, many other people joining us today. We're actually live streaming over on Twitter and also YouTube as well. If you are on Twitter, please go over to startupcouch.tv or Accelerator Frankfurt, and you can find the link there so all your colleagues, all your family members across the world can join us today, this afternoon, as we develop and unfold this afternoon here at Accelerator Frankfurt. Also on Twitter, who is actually on Twitter? Quite wonderful. Quite a few of you. Okay, so we've got a hashtag. We've created a hashtag, and that hashtag is Demo Day FFM. Okay, we got that? Demo Day FFM. Okay, so we want to hear your views, your opinions, your photographs, your selfies if you have to, everything else, all the comments you hear. And let's get this little thing we've got going here this afternoon. Let's get it trending, not just in the city of Frankfurt, not just in Germany, but we can hopefully in the fintech world and circles move this further and further. Okay, before we go any further now, I'm just going to introduce to you a gentleman who's kind of partly responsible for putting all this together. And he's going to tell you exactly the reasons why you're here and what we're going to get out of the day as well. Please put your hands together for the founder of Accelerator Frankfurt, Mr. Ram Shoham.
Whew. As I get older, these speeches get more difficult, I have to say. Especially when a dream comes true, you know. Wow, what a turnout, I have to say. So I want to say hi to the other countries tuned in. We've marketed this event also in Finland very strongly and in Israel. So shalom and moi moi. Geez, I almost feel like the Eurovision Song Contest here. So for those of you who know me, I'm not going to give any surfing stories tonight, unfortunately. Today is time for thank yous, because it is a big day for Accelerator Frankfurt. It's our demo day today. We finish our 4-month acceleration phase. And we're on our way to becoming the best accelerator in Europe. And this is my goal. This is our goal, Maria and I. And when we say something, we mean it. And I wanted to talk a little bit about our mission. So if you've seen the presentations of Accelerator Frankfurt, we always say our mission, our vision is nurturing a startup ecosystem. I'm originally from Tel Aviv, and I bring a lot of facts as well as experience of what has been done well there to make it second to Silicon Valley. And with that mission in mind, I decided a couple of months ago to pick up the phone and call the other initiatives in Frankfurt, the other initiatives that are doing so well to get Frankfurt on the map as a great startup hub. I remember talking to Christian Hoppe from Mine Incubator, and when I was telling him about the idea of doing a Frankfurt demo day, he actually responded to me, let's do it, let's make it big. So I hope this is proof that we are making it big. So I want to thank the other initiatives for really coming here and collaborating with us. I thank Mine Incubator from Commerce Bank, Waben Initiative, the Pitch Club, Deutsche Börse Fintech Hub, Fintech Meetup, which is the largest community of fintech enthusiasts, and last but not least, of course, Tech Quartier for providing us this beautiful location. Thank you very much for that. So back to the startups in Accelerator Frankfurt. Today, they're finishing one step in their organization's life. But having worked with accelerators in the past, I can tell you that you never really leave an accelerator. You are alumni of Accelerator Frankfurt. You will hopefully become mentors for the next batches to come. And you're beginning a journey. And I just want you to know, you're family, and we're there for you throughout the way. Thank you. The business life, startup life, entrepreneur, it's all about people. And Accelerator Frankfurt couldn't have done it with the excellent mentors we've had. Most of them flew in from Israel on a regular basis. And these are very busy people. These are serial entrepreneurs that have taken time, personal time, to come here and mentor our startups. And it's good friends, it's startups I've worked with in the past, these mentors, and really, to the mentors of Accelerator Frankfurt, thank you for your time and dedication. It's been great. Thank you so much. I told you it's thank yous. There's 2 more thank yous coming up. So banks, VCs, business angels. I think you have the biggest responsibility of nurturing our startup ecosystem. You are the oxygen for the startups. Without you, the startups cannot survive, especially the banks. I know that it's very difficult to move in a large organization, and to work with a startup during an acceleration phase, even more difficult. So we did identify in various of the banks here key people who are really keen on making things move forward within this large organization. And hopefully we find more key people like that that can move it forward. And some of the banks are running some pilots with their startups, which is also a very good achievement for such a short term. So I do thank you for your patience, and please keep it up. It's the only way of attracting international startups to Frankfurt. Thank you for that. It's not a long speech. I'm wrapping up. This evening, we've got 14 startups from the different initiatives around Frankfurt. We've got very good food coming up at the end. You should stay. Excellent wine selection. We've got live music. And this evening couldn't be done without the support of sponsorship. Everything relies on that, especially private initiatives like Accelerator Frankfurt. And tonight's sponsors have made this possible. I want to thank for their generosity Deutsche Bank, Waben, Mine Incubator, Taylor Wessing, PwC, and Accelerator Frankfurt for their sponsorship tonight. Thank you. A personal note. Let me get through this. Working hard is something you love is called passion. You know I'm a passionate person and I love what I do. And to do great work, you need to love what you do. But there's also things I don't like about it. There's the politics in it, waking up every morning, chasing for sponsors to get this initiative going. And I sometimes think to myself, why? Why am I doing this? I could do other things. I could start my own startup, perhaps. And I had a very, very strong reminder last Friday when I was tired. I was sleeping late in bed, and my 4-year-old son came in. And he crawled up next to me and hugged me. Everything has to have a meaning, guys. And that is my meaning. And I want our children to grow in a great city. So it all comes down to that. Thank you, Frankfurt. Thank you very much. Enjoy the evening.
Thanks so much, Ram. So there we are, setting the tone for this afternoon, and again together, hopefully by the end of our time together today, we're going to make this an event to remember. Okay, so remember, we have got 14 different startups, each thinking they've got their own big idea, but at the end of the day, it's the investors, it's the people in this room, it's the decision makers, the people listening to what they have to say to decide really if that big idea is big enough. And we'll be listening to those a little bit later on. We also have a fantastic panel discussion. We'll be delving deep into or trying to make sense of why Frankfurt should be or is or will be the hub to be looking out for in terms of startup circles and fintech as well. And also we'll be listening to different people as we go throughout unfolding this afternoon. Right, we move on now to a gentleman. He's going to share with you a keynote speech. He's going to kind of set the tone for the day. This is a gentleman, in fact, a strategist, an expert, a cybersecurity expert, although he's not going to be really talking too much about cybersecurity. He's going to be basically looking at delving deep into fintech, into innovation and banking and pretty much everything in between. Please put your hands together for cybersecurity strategist at 42, Mr. Meni Barzilay.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very, very excited. I'm a little nervous. Germany is amazing, though you have this thing called fake sun. We don't have that in Israel. We only have sun. This is what we have. But here, like it looks like a very sunny day, and then you go out and well, it's not an easy thing for an Israeli to experience. I'm going to ask you a few questions before I'll tell you exactly what we're going to talk about. So please raise your hand if you have an iPhone. Anyone with an iPhone, please raise your hand. Anyone here with an Android-based phone? Anyone here, and I'm truly sorry for asking that, with a BlackBerry? Wow. I'm so sorry, guys. Windows phone? Even worse. Oh, my God. Do you work at Microsoft? No? Okay. Okay. Anyone here without a smartphone? Now, anyone here with Galaxy Note 7? No, I don't mind. Just sit on the back. Anyone here with Facebook account? Okay, who doesn't have Facebook account? Wow. Okay, I'll speak slower. Anyone here with more than one Facebook account? Interesting. I want to talk to you after that. LinkedIn. Anyone here with LinkedIn? Have you ever bought something from eBay? Amazon? AliExpress? Deal Extreme? Okay, interesting. Anyone here with Bitcoins? Ah, a lot of people. Okay, interesting. Okay, my last question for today. If you had to choose between spending 3 days without your smartphone or without your toothbrush, what would you choose? If you would keep your smartphone, if you would keep your toothbrush, if you would keep your smartphone, please raise your hand. If you would keep your smartphone, please raise your hand. If you would keep your toothbrush, please raise your hand. Liars, come on. Come on, we all know, come on. Okay, my name is Manny Barzilai. I have a company. The company's name is 42. We are doing cybersecurity and innovation consulting all over the world. A small company, we choose our project wisely, I hope. I'm the CTO of the Cyber Research Center at the Tel Aviv University. It's the largest cyber research center in Israel. I used to be the Chief Information Security Officer with the intelligence services of the Israeli Defense Force. And I was the head of the IT audit department and the largest banking group in Israel. I got it over with. I'm not going to talk about myself anymore. We're going to talk about innovation. We're going to talk about a lot of things. I talk fast. I'm sorry about that, but I'm sure you can keep up. If you're ready, we're going to start. Okay, perfect. So soon kids will not know that once upon a time, cars came with a specific seat for a driver. They will not experience this thing called looking for a parking space or standing in traffic, or they will not know about this occupation not called taxi driver, right? And we will tell them about times in which the most sophisticated traffic-related technology was this device, that even in the middle of the night, in a totally empty street, we had to wait for a few minutes before this green light will turn on. We will hear kids say weird stuff like we have nothing to wear and the printer is empty. And we will tell them that we had to buy clothes by 5 different predefined sizes. This is what we had to choose from. We will tell them about this guy who had to risk his life, seriously risk his life every day. Right? We will tell them about fax machines and they will laugh at us. Well, to be honest, using a fax machine is already very much embarrassing. Anyone here received or sent a fax message in the past year? Oh my God, what's wrong with you guys? No, don't get me wrong. Fax has a lot of advantages compared to emails. I don't know. So it was Heraclitus, a Greek philosopher who lived around 500 BC, who coined the phrase, the only constant in life is change. And indeed, we see everything changes so fast. Those amazing new technologies that we thought we will only see in science fiction movies in a very short time becomes reality. This is a bus station. Everything changes so fast. But a moment before we will talk about the future, I want to talk about the past. I want to take the 50 million users test. Do you know how much time did it take the television to reach 50 million users? About 13 years. Do you know how much time did it take the radio to reach 50 million users? About 38 years. Do you know how much time did it take the telephone to reach 50 million users? 75 years. How much time did it take Angry Birds? 38 days. Well, if you think of Angry Birds, it's not a good example. It's okay. Think about iPhones and iPad and smartwatches and smart glasses. It's not like what it used to be, where one generation heard about this new technology, the second generation started using this technology, and the third generation started actually using it on a daily basis. Today, every new technology that is being introduced to the market, we are willing and excited to use it. People stand outside the store for the entire night, waiting to be the first one to use this technology. The fact that we are, as people, we are very easy in integrating new technologies into our lives allows us to move this fast. This is crazy. The rate of change is so high that there are so many people in the world today, they have no clue how a tape cassette is related to a pencil. Some of you laugh because they don't feel comfortable because they didn't get the joke, or everyone got the joke, right? We know how those two objects interact, and that was just a moment in time. We saw that like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was still there. Everything changes so fast. And you know, there is a myth about the frog. Some of you might have heard about that. That if you put a frog inside hot water, what happens? The frog jumps out. But if you put it in cold water and slowly heat the water up, the frog is being cooked without noticing it. Have you ever heard this myth? Well, okay, so nobody actually succeeded in proving it during our times, but we still think about the frog, and we call it the frog effect. And the thing is that we have to be very, very careful not to be this frog. Because you know what? We live inside a very interesting period of time. And because we live inside this change, sometimes we lose the perspective. And we don't understand what's actually going on. People will write books about what happened during this time. This is one of the most exciting times ever in the history of humans. Think about 2004. Oh, this is an amazing picture to me. It represents the digital revolution. Are you familiar with this picture? Can you see what happens here? So you have Hillary there, and everybody's with their backs to her taking selfies, right? So this is very. I think this picture represents the digital revolution. So 2004. What didn't we have before 2004? We didn't have iPhones. We didn't have iPads. We didn't have Facebook, Twitter, Candy Crush. We didn't have WhatsApp. We didn't have Waze, a social GPS. We didn't have cloud computing as we know it today. We didn't have Gmail. 2004. Oh my God, that's just a moment in time. And we have to have this perspective to look from the other side of the room about what's going on and to understand that from 2004 to 2017, the world has completely changed. And in the years to come, the change is going to be much more exciting. And for businesses, for traditional businesses, this is revolution. This is earthquakes. So the way we build our business models, they were supposed to serve us in a predictable world. We tried to create sustainability. We tried to prevent change. We told people those are the procedures and policies you should work by. You should do the same each and every day. We have multi-year work plan. We have budget constraints. We try to create sustainability, but right now businesses have to change and we don't know how to do that. And because of that, so many businesses found themselves out of business. So think about the books industry, right? Traditional industry. And suddenly this website came along and changed everything. This is the warehouse of Amazon. It's amazing to me. Think about TV, right? Do you know that Netflix is the reason for over 50% of internet traffic in the United States? A website. Think about hotels, right? They were revolutionized by Airbnb, right? We know about that, okay? Think about doctors. They are being replaced with this device. Do you know what that is? That's the Watson, the IBM supercomputer, right? Is already replacing doctors. And now we have the question, and this is the main question of this talk. Why almost every revolution that we see, all of those amazing things that happened in the past years and that are going to happen in the years to come, why those revolutions were created not by those guys, the big companies that ruled this industry, but by those guys. If you take a company and compare it to a startup company, so the big company, the enterprise, they have money, they have customers, they have a deep understanding of the problem, they have resources, they know what the customer wants. And those guys, the startups, the entrepreneurs, they have nothing. They don't have money, they don't understand the market, they don't have any name, they no reputation. Everything works against them. Why? Oh, why do they succeed where those big companies fail? And that's a very interesting question. And I want to talk about this question for a while. Why didn't Barnes & Noble create Amazon, but this guy? Why didn't Microsoft or Yahoo created Google, but those guys? Why didn't Google created Facebook, but this guy? I want to talk about that. So we talked about the era of digitalization, and we're going to talk about the importance of being an entrepreneur. Right? I'm not sure if you're familiar with this feeling. I had this feeling for a while. I'm not sure if I'm an entrepreneur or unemployed, right? Some of you probably felt that for a while. So we're going to talk about one of the secrets. There are many reasons why startups succeed where companies fail. We're going to talk about some of those. But the most important secret probably is this one. Startups know how to fail. And this is very important. We have to learn how to fail. It was Homer Simpson, right, the great American philosopher, who said, trying is the first step towards failure, right? So we know that trying means most of the time failing, right? So he teach about not to try anything. And this is Edison, right? You know, it took him 10,000 times, 10,000 different experiments before he succeeded creating the light bulb. What happened if he would have stopped just one time before he actually created the light bulb? We have to learn how to fail, because not all failures are kind of failures that we can get up of. And this is a very important point. So we're going to learn how to fail fast, fail a lot, and fail smart. With some areas, we feel it's okay to fail. With sport, we know that we try and we fail, and we try and we fail, and we try and we fail, and we get better. We know that. With experiments, with labs, right? We know, we try and we fail, we try, we accept that. And you know what? We respect people who conducted experiences for years before they actually succeeded. We know, with music, you have to try and try and try. We accept in those places that failure is a step towards success. But we are being taught something else in school. In schools, they teach us that failure is a bad thing. Tests are not there to see what you should do next, where you should work, what kind of lessons you're going to get. Tests are there to tell you if this kid is smarter than you are. So we are left with this feeling that failing is very, very bad. And if you're an entrepreneur, if you want to do something, you have to have the ability to fail. Because if you are in a situation where you have to succeed, and we see that, right? You have to succeed. We see that when I go into, I meet chief innovation officers in enterprises, and they have to succeed, right? The CEO told them, you get the best office, you get a lot of money, you get the best the best people from within the organization, but now you have 6 months to succeed. He has to succeed, he, she, yeah. And when they have to succeed, they cannot do innovation, because if you have to succeed, you do only things that their probability for success is high. That means that you're not really trying. If you really want to do innovation, you have to fail 9 out of 10 times. Think about that. If you are now going to do things that they are probably going to fail 9 out of 10 times, this one thing that's going to succeed is amazing. It's going to be unique. It's going to be really, really, it's going to have the ability to change the world, because you're not trying to do those comfortable things. Okay, so talking about failing smart, right? I'm not sure if you can read this. I'm not going to read it out loud. Yeah. Okay, talking about failing smart. The way to fail smart is to reduce the price of failing, right? This is very important. This is one of the most important things that you can take for your own personal life. Reduce the price of failing. If failing is not a big deal, it becomes okay to fail. So with a lot of organizations, if they're trying to do something and they failed, the people who were in charge of that get fired. I'll give you some examples of amazing ways to do smart things. So some of you might know this story about IBM. So during the 90s, IBM wanted to create a product for translating speech to text. Obviously today, each and every one of us has this device in our pockets, except the guy with the BlackBerry. But we have a device in our pockets that knows how to translate text to speech to text, right? We talk to the phone. But during the 90s, the technical foundation that needed in order to create this product were not there. And IBM knew that they have to spend a lot of money in order to create it. And they weren't sure if people are going to buy it. So what did they do? Are you familiar with this story? If you are, please raise your hand. Nobody here. Okay, I'm going to tell you the story. So what did IBM do? They did an amazing, brilliant thing. They just built one workstation that has the ability to translate speech to text. And they brought people that they respect from the industry, and they told them, sit in this chair, talk to this microphone. And people talked to this microphone, and they saw that whatever they said appeared on the screen. And they were in shock. It was like amazing. And they were so excited, and they started laughing, and they started jumping, and they started dancing. And the IBM guys were very, very happy with the fact that people are excited about this product. And then the IBM guys told them that, okay, you have the chance to buy this workstation. We have only one, you can buy it. Nobody wanted to buy it. Because they said, you know what, it's an amazing product, but we don't know what to do with it. And because of that, IBM decided not to develop this product, and they saved millions of dollars. But the true trick is, how did IBM create the first workstation? They didn't. They just connected the microphone to earphones, and there was another guy in the other room with a long cable with a keyboard, listening to whatever this person said, clicking on the keyboard. For the user, it felt like it's a working device. But IBM only invested $150 in buying an extension cord for a keyboard. So this is an amazing way to check if your product is going to succeed. Facebook, they issue about 400 changes to their website each and every month. On average, 400 changes fail. Obviously, Facebook don't need to change their website 400 times a month. They just need once a year. So they try everything. If you're an employee for Facebook, you have an idea, let's do it. We don't know. We take 1,000 people, we'll give them this new version of this of your idea. If it will work, we will use it for everyone else. And if it will not, we will not use it at all. And think about this one idea, those 2 ideas per year that actually succeed. They won against so many other different ideas. Facebook tried everything. And because they try to small groups of people, the price of failing is very, very low. Google is amazing in that sense, right? So you know that Gmail that was introduced in 2004 was a beta version till 2009 for 5 years. And then in 2009, they decided that this experiment is successful. But there are so many other products that Google actually issued that they actually closed after a few years. And because they call those products beta and experiment, people are okay with that when they feel that those products are not good enough. And when Google decides not to go ahead with them, people feel okay with that because they feel that they were part of an experiment. People are excited about that. In that way, Google actually reduced the price of failing. So how can we do that? Let's say we have an idea for a product. It can be whatever you want. It can be, I don't know, give me an idea for a stupid product. Never mind. It can be, I don't know, a chair with one leg. Now, we sit at home and we think that this is an amazing device and people are going to want to use it. A chair with one leg. People tell us it's stupid, but we are sure that people are going to want it. So traditionally, what would the old way of thinking entrepreneur would do? They would go to China, buy 10,000 of those chairs, go back home, and then try to sell them. But the new type of thinking says something else. Let's, instead of spending $100, $200, $300,000, let's pay $30, $50. Let's put an ad on the newspaper or on Facebook. And let's say that we have chairs with one leg to sell. And everyone who clicks on this ad will reach to this website saying, hi, we are about to get those chairs. If you want us to notify you when those chairs will come, just leave your email here. And you know what? If we were right, and a lot of people do want those chairs, we will get a lot of emails. And if we were wrong, nobody will put his email here. So the day after that, we're going to do another experiment. We're going to say, instead of chair with one leg, we're going to do chair with 2 legs. Let's see. Another $30. And then we can compare. Is our first idea better than the second? And with almost not spending any money, we can have those very, very short and smart experiments that will allow us to know if our product is the best one to go with. Dropbox, are you using Dropbox? Anyone here uses Dropbox? They were amazing. I'm not sure if you know, those guys are brilliant. They didn't know if this is a good, they were the first one to do this on the cloud storage, right? They didn't know if anyone wants this service. So what did they do? They created an animation video, a demonstration of their product, and they put it on the internet. And they said, this is how you work with our product. If you want this product, it's still not available, but if you will register in our website, we will send it to you soon. And they didn't even start developing Dropbox. They just created this video. And 100,000 people registered to Dropbox before they even started developing the product. When they came to the investors and they asked for money, imagine how much power did they have compared to a situation where if they didn't have this experiment. They can come to investors and says, we don't guess. We don't tell you that we believe that something will happen. We already know. 100,000 people in 1 month before we even started developing this product give us a lot of money. Right? This is an amazing way to go. Maybe it's a little too late for some of you, but think about that for the next round. Are you familiar with Kickstarter? Anyone here with Kickstarter? Kickstarter is an amazing, how much time do we have? Do we have time? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Kickstarter is an amazing, amazing product. If you haven't used Kickstarter, you're going to do it today. It's a great product for validation. Kickstarter is a crowd financing platform, crowdfunding platform. Instead of going to one person, one investor, and asking $10 million, you can go to 10 million people and ask for each and every one of them for $1. It looks like that. Let's say you have an idea. This is one of the most exciting products in Kickstarter. If you don't know what it is, you should definitely read about it. It was made by an Israeli guy named Chai, a brilliant guy. This is a paper plane that you put an engine on it and you can control it with your iPhone. Simple, brilliant. Now, let's say we have this idea and we don't want to go to China or someone else and create this product, spend a lot of money, and then to see if we can sell it, right? We're going to do it the other way around. We're going to sell it first, and then we're going to spend the money investing in developing it. So it looks like that. You open like this profile on Kickstarter. You say, I want to try and collect $50,000. The rules of the game, thank you. The rules of the game are, if you succeeded in getting $50,000, you get the money. If you didn't succeed, the people who put the money get the money back, right? So after we created this profile, we put a video here. I want to show you a short part of the video of Shai in Power Up 3. Looks like that.
Power Up 3, the first ever smartphone-controlled paper airplane. Using state-of-the-art technology, Power Up 3 turns your embarrassing paper plane into a lean, mean flying machine. Just fold a piece of copy paper into a plane, attach Power Up 3, and install the app. Now call your mom and tell her you're a pilot, because it works out of the box.
Now call your mom and tell her you're a pilot because it works out of the box, right? And a brilliant way to go about it. He said, this is my product. If you want to buy it, you have to pay me. If you will pay $10, I will send you a thank you note. If you will pay $100, I will send you one product the moment I will have it. If you will pay me $200, I will send you three products the moment I will have them. So, and if eventually you don't have those products and you don't send them, nothing bad happens. Like, people are sad, but they know they are taking part of the risk, right? So he wanted to have $50,000. He had 412 people sending money, and he got $1.2 million. Now, he doesn't have to give equity for that. He doesn't have to give shares for that. He doesn't have to give anything. Those people actually bought the product before it was ready. This is an amazing way to do validation for your product before you spend any money. This guy did something very similar on Kickstarter. I'm not sure if it's very similar. He just, instead of posting a video, he posted a picture saying, I'm making potato salads. That. If you want some of it, pay me money. He actually got $55,000. That's amazing. He actually sent people potato salad home. And yeah, it's amazing. So we saw right now how you can reduce the price of failing. You can fail smart, fail fast, right? And fail a lot before you spend time and efforts. And those are the things that startups knows how to do, and big organizations don't know how to do. But another very important thing is the fact that startups know how to accept failure. If you don't know how to accept failure, you cannot be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur has to know how to accept failures all the time. It was Michael Jordan said, I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I actually succeeded, right? We know that you have to be able to accept failure. I have a friend from Israel, and she is an actor, right? And she once told me something very interesting. She said, if you don't know how to accept no in an audition, you cannot be an actor, right? Because 99% of the time, your job is to receive no's when you're going to an audition and then go to the next one. You have to be good in the no part, not just in the yes part, right? Again, think about this guy. What if he would have stopped one time before because people told him that he cannot do that? Okay, I have to finish like in 25 minutes, right? No, I have to finish. So let me just go to the third part, and we will talk about that for 10 seconds. And that this is probably the most important thing for entrepreneur, right? We have this is the Bible of the entrepreneurs. We have to think very, very, very big, to start very, very, very small, and to move very, very fast. This is something that startups can do, and big enterprises are struggling to do. They don't know how to think small. They don't know how to start small. They don't know how to move fast. They know how to think big. And the thing is that we have to think about disruption, something that will completely change the world, right? Most of the time, what we see in enterprises is incremental innovation. 60 seconds now. Incremental innovation, this is what we usually see. And what we want to see is disruption. Let me explain to you the difference. So I'm going to show you incremental innovation. 1950, this is how you would treat a car in a car race. You know, those car races where you have to stop at the garage and change. Yeah, you know that. So see how it looks like in 1950. This is the best team.
But Holland comes in for a pit stop. Time to refuel and change tires. Lou Moore himself changes the tires.
Those guys are amazing. They do everything like so fast.
On the car. It's a tense time. Holland stays in his seat, anxious to get away. Let's watch.
People are so amazed by that the TV shows only that part, right? They don't care about the race. This team works so well together that it's amazing to everybody to see, right? 1950. All the cars, but this time all the cars continue on the race, right? You should know that.
The tires are changed at last.
And then they move.
Man polishes the windshield as Holland moves away just 67 seconds after he stops.
Okay, the same process 2013, right? This is amazing, right? This is incremental innovation. This is getting better at doing the same thing all over again. This is not what we want to do. You cannot improve horses and get cars, right? Cars are disruption. They completely change the world. So basically what I'm trying to say is that failing is the way to do amazing things. Failing is the way to do things that people didn't hear about before. So where do we go from here? Remember that small groups of people can do amazing stuff. Instagram were sold to Facebook in 2013 for $1 billion. After 15 months, they served 100 million users, and they only were 13 people in Instagram. WhatsApp, the same thing, 2014, for 19 billion to Facebook, they were 55 employees. Small groups of people can do amazing things that enterprises are not able to do. And this is something that you have to learn. This is not something that you know. This is something you have to learn. This is why those kinds of programs are crucial for entrepreneurs. You have to have the tools, but they're not just crucial for entrepreneurs. They are also crucial for enterprises. If you're an enterprise, you have to learn how to do something very, very strange for you. You have to learn how to work with startup companies. This is not something very simple for enterprises. You have to learn how to work with accelerators, right? This is not something very simple. And you should know how to adopt those techniques into your own day-to-day business. Okay, so this is what I wanted to say. I just wanted to say that you should know how to use technology, right? I don't know. Is it clear? Yeah. And everybody here has the ability to change the world. It's just a mindset, and it's just learning how to fail in order to succeed. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Many Barzilai. What a great way. What a fantastic way to start setting the tone of today's event. Wasn't it fantastic, that video we saw earlier on? I was fascinated, but there was a guy, and I counted how many times he banged those wheels. He was banging the wheel, getting the wheel off. He banged 25 times. But did you see the other guy on this side holding a pipe? That's all he was doing, holding a pipe while the other guy banging away, getting those wheels off. How times have changed. Right, we move on now to our next bite-sized chunk of this afternoon's event. And this is actually going to be a panel discussion. We're going to jump in straight into the future of Frankfurt as an ecosystem, as a startup hub. I'm sure many of you have heard of a little thing called Brexit. Suddenly the world, Dublin, Berlin, many other cities fancy themselves as cities to take a little piece of the pie that maybe London and the UK have always had. We're going to hear now from a group of established, distinguished guests from Frankfurt and the area, and they're going to chat. So we're going to chat together and somehow make sense of what's happening and the future as well. So if I can invite all our panelists to my left-hand side, you know who you are. We've got Christian Hopp, Maria, Oliver, Felix, Thomas, and Elmar. If you can join us here on my left-hand side. Fantastic. There are enough chairs. There are 6 chairs, 6 panelists. You might all want to just sway to the side slightly so you can see what we've got going on here. There are enough seats, should be enough seats. However, we have 1 microphone, but that's fine. We're going to be passing that microphone across as well. So we have everybody. Fantastic. What I'd like you to do, first of all, from this side to that side, is just simply say who you are, who you represent, and maybe an initiative you're working on right at the moment. So we can start with you here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Elmar Schütz. I'm head of project development at Aurelis, and Aurelis is running Waben. Waben resembles phonetically the German word Waben, like a honeycomb in a beehive, and so our startups are working busy like bees in a hive. Waben is actually an office space remodeled like a co-working space. It is in Bockenheim here in Frankfurt, Bockenheim district, well known by the university, 570 square meters. And the specifics and amenities that we have are 9 months free of rent. Not only free of rent, but free of fees and free of running costs. And we are working with partners together to promote the startups work. We are focusing on early fintech startups, and we have a legal firm based here in Frankfurt, FPS, within our partnership that provides legal advice to our startups. We have Torben Lucy and die Gelbe Gefahr. This is an agency from Berlin focusing on digital transformation, and where we provide marketing experience to our startups. And we have other things like Amazon Web Access with cloud services. We have even something totally different, free fruits and vegetable delivery every week. We really is a colleague of mine, and we are available at least half the time of a week, working as a, let's say, community manager within the space. And so everything is fine. We have already started November 9th this year, and we have selected 8 startups by an experienced jury last November, and 3 of them will pitch tonight. And Giromatch, Schnellspesen, and Think IT, I wish you good luck.
Okay, thank you. Our next panelists, tell us who you are and a little bit about who you represent.
Hello, everybody. My name is Felix Schäfkan, and about 2 years ago, I actually had the idea to get some people together who like to talk about innovation, finance, or fintech. The term wasn't coined that much here in Frankfurt by then. So I found something on meetup.com, so it's not a big deal, just the community, try to get people together, maybe we can talk, maybe we can meet new people. And it turned out to get bigger than we thought, because like on our first meeting, we had like 50 people coming together, 300 people joining a group, and it grew and grew. And it was a very good proof of concept actually for the potential of Frankfurt when it comes to the topic of fintech, because after less than a year, we had way more than 1,000 people joining the community and events with up to 200 people. So this is basically what I'm sitting here for. By now, we're above 1,700 in our group, and our biggest event had 250 people just coming together and for exchanging ideas and for basically talking about fintech and entrepreneurship in Frankfurt.
Fantastic. Can I just ask, so how often do you meet? How often do you meet together?
It depends, as always. Well, we try to keep it on a regular basis in around 6 or 7, 8 weeks rhythm, but since it's a hobby, we don't do that for money, actually. We have to have the time. And we have our next event coming up in early February, so if you want to come check it out.
Fantastic. So you need to see this guy afterwards, and I'm sure he'll give you the details of all the community things they're doing in terms of fintech circles. Okay.
So I'm Maria Pennanen from the Accelerator Frankfurt, one of the co-founders. We are two, Ram and me. And of course, what are we doing? So we are helping the startups getting investment ready. And in many ways, of course, helping them also to find pilots with banks and other finance institutes. We are B2B focused, and we take startups from very early stage and a little bit more developed stages. And of course, we are very happy to have 8 of our startups here, and very excited to do this day together with our cooperation partners, Deutsche Börse, Waben, and Mind Incubator. And of course, here in the lovely place of Tech Quartier. So I would say, exciting to be here, and let's make it a wonderful event today.
Fantastic, thank you. Okay.
My name is Christian Hoppe. Nice to be here. Maybe a little guessing. This guy over there, he was not the only one with a BlackBerry. I got a BlackBerry as well, and I got a suit. So what's my position or what I'm representing? A bank or a startup? Who's guessing? Maybe for a banker? Okay, good. It's both. I'm working for Commerzbank, and I'm heading the Mind Incubator. This is the corporate incubator of Commerzbank, and we are investing in fintechs to get good innovations, and sometimes we all also do some company building if we have some good ideas as well. And as we are talked about events already, we started our event series in the end of 2014. It's a monthly event, always on the first Tuesday of the month. So the next one is beginning of February. We always host around 250 up to 300 in our events, and we have a keynote speech, and we have 3 to 5 pitches every night. Yeah, and I'm happy to be here.
Great, thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Oliver Marr. I'm investment manager and in charge of the Deutsche Börse Fintech Hub here in Frankfurt. This initiative tries to support fintechs in Frankfurt and the Rhine-Main area. We do connect fintechs by offering them co-working spaces, consulting and transaction services, as well as events, just like our rooftop talks, for example. So I'm also very glad that 2 of our 4 fintechs, Cashling and SafeDroid, will pitch here, that they have the opportunity to pitch here. Thank you very much. The Fintech Hub is part of the Deutsche Börse Venture Network, which was established by Deutsche Börse Group together with the Federal Ministry of Economic Affairs and Energy here in Germany. Our goal was to bring high growth companies together with international investors. So since launch, we have over 120 high growth and late stage companies and over 220 international investors from Moscow to Palo Alto, from Helsinki to Milan as members in our network. This makes us the largest ecosystem for growth here in Europe. We are very proud of that. So Yes, our goal as Deutsche Börse is to support growth financing as well as to fill the IPO pipeline, which is maybe of interest of some of you guys. So I've already seen some investor members of us, so thanks for joining. And I'm looking forward to this wonderful event.
Thank you, Oliver. Okay, and our last panelist.
Hello, welcome. My name is Thomas. I'm representing Tech Quartier. I think for me, it's kind of the easiest to explain our concept because we're standing right in the middle of it. So the first thing we do is we provide infrastructure to startups, which you can see here. We have a couple of membership options. One is the Flex or Hot Desk membership option, and then the Open Space membership options. We also offer private offices if you need some privacy and close your door. And the good news is that we're already almost full at this level, and we're planning to open a second level opening in the middle of this year. But it's not only infrastructure that we do want to provide. The second thing that we want to do, and that where we definitely think Frankfurt is in need of this, is building bridges in the community and bring startups in here, but also connect them to the rich corporate world which we have here in Frankfurt. And we do that by hosting events like this one, our own events, but also by accelerator programs. One of those is starting in March called HIPA, the Hessen-Israeli Partnership Accelerator. So there's a lot of stuff to come. It's not only infrastructure, and I'm really thankful for a very, very great bigger event that we have here. And I'm quite sure that we will see more of those, and that this is one piece that Frankfurt definitely needs.
Fantastic. Okay, so as you can hear, we've got a nice mix, a nice selection of people to share their thoughts and ideas about what we're about to talk about. So let's jump straight right into it. Right, so imagine I'm a startup. Who's got a chair with one leg, okay? Chair with one leg. We've got a kind of tech part of it as well, a fintech part. It kind of hovers as well. Why on earth should I come to Frankfurt and not Berlin or not Dublin or not London to set up my startup? What is it about Frankfurt? Why should I come to Frankfurt? I'll open that up to all of you.
Of course, you should come to Frankfurt because it's a beautiful city, because we're all there, all of us, all the cooperation partners. And I think, yes, it's definitely if you're in fintech, you should be here because all the banks are here, all the finance institutes are here, BaFin is here, and all the lovely regulations. And we have a lot of smart other companies here. Don't know about the hovering one chair, but I think here is a good environment also to test all your B2B ideas. And I think you find people, like-minded people, to share ideas and get some sounding boards of different angles and investors. And so there's a lot of money here. Just need to maybe find a more creative ideas than the one like chair.
Maybe to answer this question, just coming from Commerzbank, when we founded our incubator, we had asked ourselves the same question: should we go to Berlin or should we better stay in Frankfurt? And we decided to open up our office in Frankfurt. Because we said if you take two parts of fintech, so fin and tech, tech is in Berlin and tech is in the Rhine-Main region, so Darmstadt, for example. And then you're looking at fin, and fin is in Frankfurt, but not really in Berlin. So maybe sorry for all the guys coming from Berlin, and we will have two startups from Mind Incubator pitching tonight, and they come from Berlin. So one from Berlin, one from Munich. But if they are honest, in Berlin, the deeper banking knowledge, and you need that because banking and fintech is a very complex topic, is in Frankfurt. So stay here. Your biggest clients are in Frankfurt, maybe also in London, but Frankfurt is a good place to start.
Okay, would you say so Frankfurt is competing against Berlin or not?
Not really, because definitely there's a bridge between the different startup cities in Germany. So it's not one city which is winning. There are maybe two, so Frankfurt and maybe Berlin. No, just kidding. So it's definitely the bridge between Berlin and Frankfurt.
Nothing to add, yeah.
I think short and sweet. After you.
I think there's one more ingredient, except for those that are, I think, crucial for the ecosystem. In Frankfurt, I think we have a huge base of talent. We have a couple of universities in Frankfurt itself that are quite strong. Goethe University, then the Frankfurt School of Finance, but we also have the region to think of. We have Wiesbaden, we have Mainz, we have Darmstadt, and there are a lot of talents that could be not just employees of the startups, but founders themselves. And this is definitely, I think, a unique selling proposition for the region. What we need to do in order to exploit that is bring them closer to the topic of startups and kind of inspire them. Because so far they're more interested in corporate careers, but I think there's a lot of potential regarding this element of talents, which we just have to exploit.
Okay, I'll move on to another question now. So if we were to kind of, we've already spoken a little bit about it already, but if we were to look at, let's say, 4 or 5 ingredients, main ingredients which make a great ecosystem, what would you put in that bag of ingredients for a great recipe?
Let's just try. Yeah. Okay. Space like this, of course. Yeah. Affordable office space is also is always necessary. Different initiatives that kind of compete and kind of cooperate together. Everyone should have its own profile, but also be ready to cooperate. That's part of an ecosystem. Every part is complementary to each other, and that's an ecosystem.
I think you basically have to look at it on different levels. Like as a startup or someone who has just an idea and wants to found something for the very first time, who's 25 years old or something, he'll have different needs than, I don't know, a startup that already grew to 25 people. So you have to think at different ingredients on different levels. I think the very first one to get started is a community, basically, to meet like-minded people, to get an exchange. You'll face very simple problems in the beginning, and there's like 500 people who already solved those, so you have to talk to them. So this would be like the very first steps. And then we can move forward and get some more material, more into like capital-heavy topic, like real estate, of course, investors available or access to investors. I think this will be in a later stage then. And well, you could also consider costs of living in a city. And I know people are always bashing Frankfurt for being so expensive and the rents are heavy, I know that. But if you compare to international hubs, I think it's still on a quite reasonable level. So we should have everything we need here, if you ask me.
And I think it's what is great, although yes, we are in early stages, I think, in Frankfurt, but we have still, all these kind of different initiatives. We have the meetups where people can exchange their ideas and talk to each other. If it's a totally wacko idea, maybe somebody already did it, tried it many times, it doesn't work. And then you have, of course, you have like an accelerator where you can then, in a program form, try your idea out in 4 months and, fail or fly. And then, of course, then you can go further up to the incubator where you can find financing and, home for a bit longer run, or, like Barben, offering free office spaces. I think it's, and, of course, Commerzbank with, with financing. So I think this is a great place for all this kind of collaboration to flourish, and all kind of different kind of investment ways. And of course, we have a lot of a very active business angel organization here, and I think also private people who don't belong to anything but are interested in investing. So I think definitely, like Felix said, we need all these kind of different levels of things to function to have a good ecosystem.
Okay. Maybe just a little bit to add. We need also capital, of course, yes, and success stories. The more executor we have and good exits we produce, the better.
Excellent points. One more external factor maybe to add, we need the political backing or maybe the awareness from our politicians or the political leaders for our Fintech Hub Frankfurt and our ecosystem.
Everything was said, but not by me. No, there's only one thing left, I think. So we have all the different ingredients, like the talent, the capital, the politic, the success stories. I think one of the most important things in functioning ecosystems is that they all work together. so that there's a lot of collaboration between the bigger corporates and the startups, between the politics and the universities. So we all have to bring them on one table and work on a common goal. So, and this is not just for Frankfurt, it's more for the region. So all the ingredients, they're worth nothing if they do not work together, like in an ecosystem.
So we've heard a lot of things there. In fact, I'm going to open it up to you guys on Twitter, actually. So remember, hashtag Demo Day FFM. If you want to add anything else, if you feel you've got something, you think of something else that can actually make attract people to Frankfurt, put it down on Twitter, and we'll have a read of those a little bit later on. Again, your last comment there in terms of collaboration leads me on to my next question. How can we actually collaborate better? Like almost like an action plan of things to do that we can actually collaborate better on.
I mean,
more specific.
I think this here is a very good example that it already works quite well, because anyone who's active in this ecosystem here has somehow a different focus, I think. And we all have our strength or areas where we are not that strong. So for example, if we bring together the very established communities like that Christian built with Between the Towers, they have a lot of access to big companies and corporates and so on. And other communities might have stronger access to founders or students who only think about founding a company. You can interact, and then we can just exchange ideas and collaborate on events or on anything else around. And I personally was very excited when I heard that Accelerator Frankfurt and TechVatir are doing this thing together and are cooperating, because I think it's two very great initiatives. And now when they join forces, they can just both prosper from that. And there we go.
Okay, I'm sure we're all excited to see how this unfolds in the future as well. Okay, Mario.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a great potential of Frankfurt becoming something great. I mean, it will never be Berlin, but who wants to be Berlin anyway? Everybody has a beard. Although half of my half startup has it also nowadays, but they don't, just because other reasons. But yeah, I think Frankfurt has everything, it takes to become really a vibrant startup ecosystem. I think with our initiative here, we all show that this is what we want to do. We want to work together, we want to be successful, we want to collaborate. And clearly, if you think on certain specific aspects that needs to be done, I think sometimes it's maybe our own fault that we seem to have difficulties in explaining. I think is maybe more for the political side, or maybe sometimes for the more conservative banking industry, the added value that startups and innovation brings. I think Mani Barthelay, I think hopefully was quite clear in explaining what it means to be innovative, that you need to be prepared to fail. And sometimes we say to the corporations that, we let you outsource the failing and, give it to us. Our startup will fail for you. So you don't get your name, tarnished. But I think this is maybe, it's really, I think many times the mentality issue, maybe also from our sides, to explain and to show really the added value that we can add. And hopefully with the event today and the startups pitching from all initiatives, I can show that startups can be successful and have future. And let's hope we get the first unicorn here to Frankfurt at some point.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good. Maybe a very boring comment to that one. We just give them space, the startups give them space to work. It's very good to have big parties, and yes, we have our event series, and it's very good for networking. But if it all comes back to one core aspect, then we have to work and we have to build and execute, and maybe we just be focused on that one, and the rest, capital and all the other stuff will follow.
Great. Nobody else? Okay. Oh, yeah.
One comment.
Please.
We should stabilize our cooperation, and we should stabilize our roundtable, and maybe we could tackle some issues the fintechs have here in Frankfurt. I have learned that there are too less techs. For instance, University of Darmstadt, it's just overwhelmed. They cannot provide enough techs to enable the fintechs develop their models. Yeah? We should reach out for other universities, maybe in Marburg, maybe in Mittelhessen. There are techies that would like to work together with us, and we should tackle the issues the fintechs have. That's my opinion.
Okay, right, we're going to kind of wrap up now. So if I was to ask you now to just say two things, very quickly, two things why startups should come to Frankfurt. Just go straight through two things, think about it, and just say those two things. Actually, we'll go, you've just spoken. You've had enough of speaking, yes. If you go to the end, to the gentleman there. I know you like your laptop, yeah, you like looking at your tablet. So two things why startups should come to Frankfurt and nowhere else.
What the first is, it has the perfect environment for startups to grow, especially for B2B startups. So it's the entire ecosystem itself. I wouldn't pick one thing. If I had to pick one thing, then it would be you have the potential of a lot of talents here that can be founders and employees. And of course, infrastructure and stuff like that. So ecosystem as a whole, very great environment and a lot of talents.
Fantastic. Okay.
So the offerings, we can accelerator, we can offer accelerators, we can offer incubators, we can offer hubs. It's the offering we can give these startups. And maybe they come to Frankfurt for the apple wine. That's another important part.
Okay.
So now it's getting hard after the first four. I would say capital. There's enough capital in town. And beside that, absolutely one big aspect is banking knowledge. We have so many compliance and regulatory officers in the established banks in the towers sitting around and maybe thinking about something cool and doing not just boring stuff. We just have to use them, and then we can build something really good.
I think I have similar things as the previous guys. I would say that money, you need money. Without that, there's no life for startups. And the second thing, what would it be? You need money, yeah. And anything else?
More money.
More money.
Okay.
No, I think you need the clients, clearly. I mean, if you are in B2B, you need clients to run pilots and to prove that your product works. So money and clients.
Great.
I'd like to keep it very general, actually, since a lot has been said. And I'd say it's a very live-worthy place. And especially Frankfurt is a city on the second side, so to say. You might not love it when you come here the first time, but probably later on. And second, it's an economically strong area. So this is an area to build a successful company. And just to add that, I think it's not too much about it's not only about how to attract like foreign people here, it's also about using the talent that is here and inspire the talent here to just stay here when founding a company.
Great.
Frankfurt is also strong in the real estate industry. That's why I'm here. And there are a lot of opportunities for fintechs to collaborate with proptechs, and that would be fun and success too. And when we look to Offenbach, to our neighbor city, Offenbach is very strong in industrial design because they have the Hochschule für Gestaltung there, and there could be other opportunities to work together for our startup community.
Fantastic. I think we've heard lots of food for thought and lots of ideas. A lot of things we already know, I'm sure, but hopefully we've also heard something that, again, spark a little bit of inspiration as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our panelists. Elmar, Thomas, Felix, Oliver, Maria, and Christian. Thank you very much. If you'd like to go back to your seats. Right, we now move on. We start to now shake things up a little bit. This is the part of the evening, shall we say, when we invite our startups, again, each with their big golden idea, or at least they think they've got their fantastic idea ready to share with you here in Frankfurt and with the world, streaming worldwide, again on Twitter and YouTube as well. I'm going to ask now if the 8 startups that we have are scheduled to pitch, if they can join me on the left-hand side over here. So if you can come to my left-hand side so we can get this go as smoothly as possible. Actually, no, what I'm going to do is startups, if you can come this side. Startups this side. You can sit down as well. Sit down over there. Blend into the background. Okay, so I'm going to ask if you can. Yeah, you don't look like startups anymore. You look like part of the crowd. Fantastic. There's a seat there, my friend. Just budge up. You can squeeze in there. Right. I would now like to ask the panelists, the jury members, to come and join me on the left-hand side. So the jury members for the first startup pitch session, if you can join us here on the left-hand side. You know exactly who you are. Thank you very much. Fantastic. Our other jury members, take your time. It's okay. Stroll on over. Okay, so this is how it's going to work. This is the drill. Basically, startups, the pitches here, they stand here in front of you, in front of the world, and they have 5 minutes. They have 5 minutes, no more, less if they wish. Some of the best startup pitches, and I'm sure you've heard them before, actually less than 5 minutes. So up to 5 minutes. If they go over that time, unfortunately, I will step in and stop you. You know the drill very, very well. We have our jury here as well to dig a little bit deeper after your pitch, just to ask those questions that perhaps you were prepared to answer or perhaps you weren't. What I'd like to do now, if you could pass the microphone to our jury members, if you just say who you are and who you represent and why you feel you're the right person to be on this jury.
My name is Reuven Ulmansky. I'm from Israel, and I'm dealing with this kind of stuff for the last 38 years. That's it.
Right, this kind of stuff for the last 38 years. There's no one better. 38 years of experience. He knows what he's talking about. Next gentleman.
Hi, Andrew Groom. I've got 25 years in the real estate world, building up businesses, and I live here in Frankfurt, 4 children, and very interested in hearing what you've got to offer.
Fantastic.
Hi, my name is Karan Dekani. I'm the co-founder of CodeDoor. It's a nationwide coding school, so we know some stuff about technical development. So I'm pretty excited to hear what you guys are up to. And if you want to learn how to code, you can contact me, of course. And I have been in the startup universe for 18 years now. Had my first exit to Metro AG 18 years ago.
Great.
Hello, my name is Emmanuel Avner. I was co-founder of a startup, Lacoon Mobile Security, that was sold to Checkpoint last year for $100 million. Currently, I'm a mentor and also investors in seed rounds of young startups.
Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Mizrahi. I run the A2B Startup Accelerator in the Israeli College of Engineering in Jerusalem. Together with Ram, we wrote the program for Accelerator Frankfurt. I'm very happy to be here.
Wonderful. So we have our startups here on my right. We have our jury here on my left as well, and you, the audience, as well. Remember, your comments, your views, your pictures, everything that you feel, things you do like, things you don't like, you can tweet those out. Demo Day FFM. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're ready to hear the first pitch. What do you think? I'm sure you are ready. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our first pitch, and that simply is a startup called Align.
Yes, welcome. My name is Stefan Solistio. I'm one of the co-founders of Align. And to start out with, let me see a show of hands here. Anybody who's here who loves risk management and compliance? That's what I figured. Almost no one. Yeah. This is something we are setting out to change. We believe that gaining risks insight into your business should not be more difficult than browsing a social media feed. Sounds a bit like a joke, but think about it. If you go on Facebook or LinkedIn, you're interacting with a huge amounts of data in a very user-friendly way. But if you think about risk management and compliance, this is currently not the case. It's very painful for a lot of people. Why is that? Yeah, we've seen with a lot of small and medium-sized companies, but you'd be surprised also with the big corporations we've seen in our experience, that are still using a lot of spreadsheets for manual remediation of these tasks. Big banks have 10 to 15% of their headcount now tasked with this. On the other hand, a huge amount of money are being spent, $23 billion by banks on governance risk compliance tasks. This is more than the net worth of Steve Ballmer, just to put that into perspective. We believe this should be different, and how we are approaching this is we have three core concepts that we are introducing to the world in our platform. We allow much easier interaction with social interaction elements, easier ways to interact with risk data. We also allow much deeper risk insights in a semi-automatic fashion than they can usually get now or with a lot of effort. And also what we believe is now if you start such a program or if you have a specific problem, it takes you very long time to get this running. Or if you have to change your systems to run, for example, a risk assessment campaign in your institute. We believe this should be able to do for tactical assessments and so on day one. So I'm not going through all of the use cases we have listed on here. You can read them. If you find you have a problem like this in your company, we are looking always for customers and clients to pilot on this. So please come to our booth later and we show you what we do actually in that area. Just to talk a bit more about what is our business model. So it's a software as a service platform that basically allows you to run this compliance, risk management, and governance processes, especially in the technology, IT risk, and cybersecurity area. And we usually start with a pilot program that is quite attractively priced, but we can scale depending on usage to big corporations that are more in the 10,000 plus monthly recurring revenue scheme. And why is this important? We usually go through certain phases. And if you look at our current customer list, a lot of them are still in this kind of pilot phase. But now we are already, if you look at our pipeline, we have multiple of these 10,000 plus MRR proposals right now with a high chance of winning, we believe. And this will hopefully convert in the next 1 or 2 months. We have some big names also like Allianz, who's doing cybersecurity insurance assessments. And some fintechs, especially who are now with the new trend of working more with B2B customers and banks and so on, actually need to follow all these requirements, these compliance and risk management compliance requirements. And we help them with this. Why do we believe this is an attractive market? It depends a bit on which survey you look at, what numbers you can see, but they're all pointing in an upwards direction, and you can all imagine this. There's more and more requirements in the space. Let me point out here on the right side, on the respondents in this space, 3/4 are either staying on their budget or increasing their budget in the space. And this is clearly what we're seeing with our customers. So why are we the right people to do this? And maybe if I can shortly ask my co-founders here also on stage. Carl could not join us today, unfortunately, but the rest of the team here, of the founder team, is here today. You have to go here in the blue lines. And we have a combined, I learned this in Israel, we have to boast a little bit, we have a combined 50 years of experience in this space. And I challenge you to find this if you go to any risk consultancy or so, to find that in one room. So regarding funding, this is of course also something we're doing. We're very close to first closing our seed round. So this is actually moving into February, but we're still of course looking for interested parties to fill up the round. And we've talked to several people here in the room already and they are interested, we know. And we are also looking to then follow on with the growth round basically 12 months after. Let me close also with some nice words about Accelerator Frankfurt, because we feel really this has become a very strong and emotional family. And one example on this whole discussions we are having here, when we needed some advice, people were jumping on it really fast in our communication channel and helping everywhere. And this is really what we believe has been for us also very good time and investment into this program. Thanks, Ram and Maria.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Align.
So if there are any questions?
Okay, there are questions. We're just going to take that microphone and give it to the gentleman here. Okay, let's dig a little bit deeper into what you've just heard.
Well, I'm not objective because I was your mentor, but I think I just would like to say that you got an excellent feedback really from all the Israeli guys that met you while you were in Tel Aviv. And I think that you have a bright future.
Thank you. Can you just give us a quick background on competitor analysis?
Sure. I can also try with my voice. So there are two main segments on the competitive space. One is incumbent software players These are, if you look at the Gartner analyst leaders quadrant, is something like RSA, Archer, MetricStream, and so on. And these are usually big companies. MetricStream at a $400 million evaluation on the last funding round. We are in this space. We are a bit surprised that this is this early, but we are competing in RFPs against some of them. And for example, IBM Open Pages, and they are already out, and we are still in. On the other hand, we have the professional services space. We've also been in consulting companies, so we are digitizing some of the business. But on the other hand, these are very good partners because they're also recognizing that doing just like manual labor on spreadsheets is no longer able to raise these daily rates. So they're all looking for automation and scalability tools, and we're actually partnering with some of them already worldwide, like in Australia and other countries that are delivering already quite good revenue for us.
Hi, so can you share some unique insights that you have compared to your competitors? Like what makes you win the game?
The so-called unfair advantage, right? So we believe this is really the strong combination that we bring in both technical terms. Yeah, we have these two guys here are developing our platform together with our developers, and the industry and content knowledge. Yeah, so what we bring to the table is a combination of both, with some smart workflows in the online platform. And this is something, if you look at a Big Four or so, they're trying to copy it with tools, but it's always glorified spreadsheets that are trying to sell you. We have a very attractive web application. On the other hand, the tool developers or tool manufacturers, the big incumbents, they don't have this kind of domain expertise in terms of what do you actually have to do on the ground, on the front lines. Yes.
Can you share with us an example of savings that can be generated by your platform of, let's say, a medium-sized company?
Sure. The one example maybe I pick is Solaris Bank, because that's probably familiar to here a lot of people. Is they got a banking license just recently. So maybe it doesn't quite fit your medium-sized definition, but it's a very good example. Because they of course, even with the banking license, they have to fulfill all the requirements that the BaFin and so on even says to larger institutes. So they started out with one risk manager, and we started providing services to them quite early. And they were able to scale this to basically risk assess all their partners that are coming onto the Solaris Bank API platform without growing this team largely. And this is something they would have had to do if they would have wanted to manually handle this kind of topic.
Okay, that wraps it up. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our first startup pitch. Align, thank you. Okay, so there we go. That kind of sets the tone. That's what it's all about. The first pitch, we've already had it, and it's time now to go on to pitch number 2. So on second pitch, if you'd like to come to my left-hand side, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for pitch number 2, and that simply is BI.
Hello, everybody. Nice to be here. My name is Asaf Binstock. I'm CEO and co-founder of BI. And let's skip to it. Do you see the problem? You are the bank. You are the financial institution. We're a fintech company. This is what you see when you see this customer. This is who this customer really is. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we try to make the financial institutions understand the world as Google, Facebook, or any other clever platform today knows the customer. If you want an analogy, you can look at the car industry. The car industry has Mobileye. Mobileye is a chip made in Israel, which drives all the autonomous car till date. They are the best in the world. It's a publicly traded company, and we are trying to do the same for the financial industry, for the retail side of the business. So we get our customer to see the big picture. What we do is we translate the consumer presence into financial indicators and then use machine learning to both use the financial information they have in their platform and the web information, the behavioral aspect that everybody of us have online, melt those two together using machine learning, using very smart algorithms and modeling, and create a score which is better than the one that they currently have What will they do with it? They would save money, but by having less default customers, and they would increase their revenues by giving the customers that they think are fit more money because they know more about them and they can trust their instincts to give them 20 instead of 10, etc. This is how the system works. Thank you, Ram and Maria. Thank you, all the mentors. Thank you, banks. We have a new customer here in Germany. That's a huge thing for a startup out of Israel with only 3 customers at the homeland. What we did is we transferred all the platform from AWS to the servers sits within the customers. What it is, the customer loads the file, it gets into our system. Then we get both the financial data from the customer within the bank, so the data does not leave the bank. We get out into the public web. We get all the information, the publicly available information, all works with compliance. And at the end, all this information flows into our server, sits within the bank. Then the financial data is added, and then the customer gets BI score, which is a complementary tool to work alongside with their current scoring model technique. This is in-depth analysis of our system, just 3 pointers. We do pattern discovery within the big data of all of the customers base of the customer. We are given defaulted customers ranking by the bank. Then we train the system and each customer gets their own unique risk analysis on a platform which is generally addressed everybody. And we actively detect when you need information, additional information, in order to increase your ability to predict. And we send our customer and our online robots to do the complementary accumulation of data in order to approve that. What the use cases are, one is risk. We're taking all of the information that can be found online, taking into our model system, and get a complementary risk scoring model. The second one is sales. We get to understand the customer much better than each bank or a clerk can know. And then we say to them, this is your strategic products. Do this and that, suggest for those customers, and this and that might go well with these customers. It's based on history and it's based on artificial intelligence over the models that we create. That's what we aim to do. And we aim to be, within 10 years' time, the chip inside that goes along with all the dinosaur banks in order for them not to be extinct by all of these new entrants to the game, Google Money, Facebook Money, Apple Wallet, etc., which could change and revolutionize and even turn out of the market all the current banks. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, BI. Okay. Jury members, what do you think of that? Let us hear.
Can you detail a little bit about your pilots or customers that you're working with?
I knew it would come, any questions. Okay, so we have the biggest credit card company in Israel working with us on 250,000 customers. We already demonstrated high conversion rate, ability to predict on huge percent of the customers that we dealt with. We are working with the biggest outside lender in Israel, which has given us a pilot to demonstrate our ability. Within the 1 billion shekels worth of loans that they had in their system, they had about 2% of defaulted customers. We could identify 1/3 of the customers just within the preliminary pilot because of new data that we get into the systems. And we could say in higher degree of certainty that the clear customers, those who can be given credit, can be given even more because they're much clearer than they thought. And they could suggest more money to those customers and enrich their revenue. All bankers want to get more revenue today.
What's your USP against much larger competitors like Cambridge Analytica?
So there are many companies in the world that are doing machine learning, artificial intelligence. Everybody knows it's the huge, big thing, and trying to do many projects with it. There are many project companies. We are a product company. We give the bank a product, a box, which can do the entire process end to end. And we are experts in the banking industry and in technology that needed to drive those specific solutions. We don't do other projects. We don't do other types of machine learning methodologies, just the one that needed. And so we have the graph knowledge to understand from one customer going to the next country, what are the mechanisms that drives this specific predictive analytics. This is the core advantage that we have.
How do you secure machine learning experts? Like, how do you secure them? How do you secure their supply? Because, yeah, like how HR, how do you secure
machine learning experts are much more pricier than gold. I don't know if you know. Does anybody here in the audience know somebody that does machine learning? 1, 2. Okay. Everybody, please call me. Give them their number. I'm planning on open shop here in Frankfurt. As a matter of fact, I told Ram when we just met half a year ago, I was wondering whether I should go to London or to Frankfurt. And there was the Brexit, and there was all kinds of gut feeling that Germany could be it. And having the first customer already here from the big banks, thinking that Ram, we chose right.
We know that banks are very conservative to adopt new technologies. Do you see other types of customers that can use your technology?
I was told to go and sell to banks. It's 18 months sales cycle. Don't go sell to banks. Up to now, we had 4 customers. Each of them was 2 to 3 months sales cycle because of the difference in our approach apparent to there. But we already got few calls from all of the P2P lenders in Israel, which are very leading P2P platforms, all of which wants us to do their modeling scaling out from Israel to the world. When we first met VCs a year ago, and we just say, hey, we have an idea, all of them told us those companies have much better models, the better solution, better expertise. They will do much better than you in the things that you are suggesting. All of them are focused on marketing, on sales, on getting customers. All of the P2P, all the lenders of the outside of the bank, all the startups are wanting customers. And we, by going out to the B2B world and getting the data and understanding the models and building the core foundations, we now are having a competitive advantage against all those startups that in the end comes to us for better modeling.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for BI. Fantastic. Okay, we're getting ready now for startup pitch number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together very simply for Synthesis.
Switch. Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. We are Synthesis. My name is Markus Franke, and I'm the CCO and co-founder of Synthesis. Synthesis is a product and customer analytics company. We provide support to our clients to better understand the products and their customer needs. And that will boost the efficiency of their commercial function and the performance of sales, marketing, and loyalty. Who needs our services? All companies who have complex non-commodity products, such as airlines, banks, or insurances. Recommendation engines that you know from Amazon, from retail e-commerce, they simply do not work for them. Why? Because they're made for simple products. Our clients need real-time context to better sell. Should an airline, for instance, offer a fast path through security to a traveler who's not in a hurry? Rather not. Should a bank offer a loan to someone who's just received a nice heritage? Rather not. Wouldn't it be great to know that context in advance? That's exactly where Synthesis comes in. We know who needs your products. Another complication is that digitalization destroys transparency for marketers because consumers have taken control over their customer journey. So only 36% of the time that sales reps spent last year was spent on customers. The rest administration, horrible. And only 6% of all sales leads were converted. Quite good result, huh? No, I'm kidding. It's disastrous, waste of money. But there is also an opportunity in digitalization. 80% of consumers already today interact with their favorite brands through digital channels. And 56% use social media on their journey. So there's a vast amount of information about their needs out there. You just need to grab that. And that's exactly what we do. So the Synthesis solution is built on deep learning and context analytics solutions. We understand, we scrape the web, and we understand the DNA of your products. And we can benchmark that with more than 100 other comparable products if available. And we do the same, deep profiling for customers and identify their DNA across more than 500 attributes. And that will create an automated match with the best probability to sell. That saves time, that will boost the quality, that will improve the customer experience and increase the conversion rate. Our business model is product and customer analytics as a service. So we sell insights, not costly IT systems. We stream data, we do not store them, so we do not have any privacy issues. And we rely on real-time data, not on historic ones. Our backend is growing every day. We're having thousands of profiles, and we go for millions of profiles. And our front end will be fully adopted to client needs. If an airline, for instance, would like to launch a new service bundle, we scrape the web and play back to them all the emotional, rational, and economic responses of their clients to that bundle. We recommend how to improve it, where to sell it, and when to sell it. The market for product and customer analytics is forecast to grow to more than 7.5 billion euro by 2019. That's huge, but we're a very small company, so we need focus. And that's what we do. We start with core industries where we have the best grip, like airlines and banks. And we already have pilot applications. And we do that in Germany, Europe, but also worldwide, according to pilot applications. So we have defined a sales target of 10 million euro by 2019. We have a unique sales proposition because all the other analytics companies either are up there, they have huge ecosystems like the Facebooks and the Googles of the world, they just rely on scale. Or they have small, sophisticated little plugins. We can combine the best of two worlds because we're in the middle, we build our own ecosystem with a growing number of profiles. On that way, we have already accomplished a couple of important milestones. With the support of Accelerator Frankfurt, we have developed within less than 4 months an MVP, achieved proof of concept. We started building a sales team. Plus, we have already acquired 3 pilot applications with international companies that you see here. And with the insights, we run these pilot applications. With the insights, we will be able to launch and roll out the product through the course of 2017. To make that happen, we need a 500K investment, a 500K euro investment in 2017 to build the team and to ensure the capabilities in sales and technology that we need. And here's the team that will make it happen. We have here Alex Lerch, our CEO and CTO, who has the technical expertise to build the product. And I'm Markus Franke, the CCO, and I will deal with the commercial topics and make it sell. Together, we have more than 35 years of industrial experience. And yeah, I think it's even more. And we are Synthesis, a product and customer analytics company. We're here for you. So if you like what you see, get back to us. We're here as long as you are. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Synthesis. Okay, let's hear what the jury think, and we'll start from the opposite end. There we are. Let's dig a little deeper into Synthesis.
So can you tell me, maybe elaborate a little bit about how easy it is to hook up to your system and to try a new product with your system?
This is very easy because we have a plug-and-play solution. So no complex integration into IT landscapes needed. We have a demonstrator with us. You can show it later on. We can show it later on. So if you're interested, we show it. We have it with us.
Can you share with us simple examples of the use of the technology in airliners and banks, one for airliners and one for bank?
I think I mentioned that. So if you, for instance, have a product bundle of an airline, and they want to sell and have to reshuffle it to improve the reception by the client, we will scrape the web, and then we will play back to them all these different attributes that we have checked and give them the right incident or evidence for what is the right, the mix of attributes of this service bundle, like ancillaries, like extra legroom or fast pass-through security. And that will be optimized based on the responses of all users in the internet. For the banks, similar story. So if a bank has a variety of offerings around loans and other financial products, we can do the same. So we will identify the best mix for these type of clients. We also do micro-segmentation. We will find out who is, based on our external information, not from the internal, based on the external information, who is the best next buyer of this type of bundle.
Another question on USP and competitor environment. You've put yourself right in the middle there as standing out completely alone. It sounds fantastic. Is that as true as you think it is? What about in the States? And
actually, we've done quite some effort in screening the competitive landscape, and that's what we found. Of course, we made it look nice. That's what I admit. But actually, there's no other company doing those 4 quarters. We have the combination of the big ecosystem, we're growing, and we have the plugin solution, very sophisticated, built on quality. Plus, we combine external social media data with internal CRM data. And we have found any other competitor doing that.
Any last questions for Synthesis? No? Okay, once again, put your hands together for Synthesis. Okay, we move on now to our next pitch. Now, this is actually something a little bit different. We're going to hopefully, fingers crossed, this will work. What we're doing, in fact, is we're jumping across over to Tel Aviv, and that is where our next startup will be pitching from. Okay, so the idea is we get a live link to this gentleman here. He looks ready. Are you ready to pitch?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I think there's a little bit of a delay, isn't there?
Yes, I think there is 4 or 5 seconds of delay.
Okay, we'll just get your picture back up, hopefully. Or we won't get your picture back up. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, we can't see you. We can see you down in the bottom. There we are. I think. Are you ready? Are you ready to pitch?
I'm ready.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together all the way from Tel Aviv, Fenrir 7.
Yeah, hello everybody. My name is Yaniv Miron. I'm the CEO and founder of Fenrir 7. Now, it takes around 300 days to detect a threat inside an organization. We can do the threat, the cyber threat, in the organization in less than 24 hours, and we can do it very clearly to the security manager. Now, just a little bit about the team. So myself, I've been working in different security companies all over the world. My last position was actually in Denmark, not far from Germany. My co-founder, Alon Golan, is actually a network expert. He's got a lot of certificates, and he worked at Checkpoint and Random Logic. And our newest team member is Aki Eldar. Aki was the former founder and CEO of Secure Islands that was sold to Microsoft in hundreds of millions of dollars. So this is from the latest news. As you can probably see, 1/3 of enterprises suffered from an inside breach in the last 12 months. Now, our claim is that 2/3 never reported. So in total, everybody got breached. It's pretty known in the cyber industry that every medium and large enterprise are actually infected and breached. Some of them are aware of it, and some of them don't even know about it. So this is a flow of a regular attack. And here we can see an attacker attacking a bank. This is actually a flow of a bank attack in Norway in 2015. You can see that the attacker actually attacked a teller machine. Once he was taking control of that teller bank machine, he was actually doing reconnaissance. He was trying to find what other machines are in the network. From that point, he actually found the IT administrator machine. He was using techniques to copycat as an administrator, taking control of the IT administrator machine. And from the IT administrator machine, he was actually using exploitation to get control of the main database server. It took more than 300 days to that bank to realize that happened. Just imagine how much damage that specific hacker did in their organization. Now, with Fenrir 7, we would already understand and recognize the threat in the reconnaissance phase in less than 24 hours. Then we can show the CISO, the security manager, the flow of attack, the possible future attack on the organization, and how do we think we should deal with it. And all of that could be mitigated in a very short amount of time without a lot of damage to the organization. Now, our solution is pretty simple. It's either a virtual or a physical device that you connect to your backbone in your organization, which means that we get a copy of each and every packet that travels the organization, just a copy of it. Then we process that information in our cyber engines. We have a heuristic decision-making engine, and we have a machine learning engine. They will actually process all the information and generate information to the security manager about what happened, where are the threats, and where do they go. Now, this a screenshot from our system looks like a petri dish if some of you were in biology lessons. And our solution is pretty simple. Instead of thousands of alert lines, because usually in security solutions you get a lot of alerts, we show that specific visualized alerts. So you can see that the big round thing is a problem, and a small thing is either false positive or not a problem. So as a security manager, you can look at the screen for 2 seconds and understand if you have a problem or not. Now, after you understood that you have a problem, we will zoom into one of the big rounds. So once we zoom in, we can see the detailed flow of the attack. We can see the attacker's machine. We can see what type of step is it. Is it the first step? Is it the 10th step? Is it the 100th step in my organization? How many machines that this attacker already took into control? Then we can see the victims and, of course, all of the IPs. I'm not going to take you through the entire system, but if you're going to double click on each and every one of those machines, you'll get full detailed forensics information about all of them. Now, for the investors in the audience, the lateral movement market size is $7 billion. That's a crazy amount. That's a new and emerging market, started in 2015, and we're, of course, taking part of it. We have paying customers from different areas. We have education, we have communication, we have online gaming, and on and on. Our solution fits to any medium and large enterprise that actually wants to find the threats before they're doing a colossal damage in the organization. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm open for questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, Fenrir 7. Okay, can you see us here?
Not really, but I can hear you.
Are you sure we're all here? We could have all gone home. I don't know. Anyway, we will now go on to the jury members, and they're going to ask you a few more questions to dig a little deeper into what you've got.
Okay.
Hi, it's Emmanuel Avner. I know that you are based in Israel, and probably you have some customers in Israel. What are the next steps in order to expand your business into other geographics outside of Israel?
Okay, that's an interesting question. So, of course, because we're part of the Frankfurt Accelerator, our thought was to expand to Europe, specifically Germany, and we're focused on Frankfurt and Munich at the moment. We have communication with different customers already, both in Frankfurt and in Munich. And this is our goal. Then in the future, we're probably going to continue to the UK and to the US.
Hi, I think you talked about that you already have customers. So I would like to know if you have a month-over-month growth rate.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Do you have a month-over-month growth rate currently regarding sales?
Well, it's our regular model is actually SaaS, but we're building different paying plans for different customers because different customers have different needs. But our current revenue is recurring.
Can you elaborate about competition? I mean, are you one of a kind, one solution, or is there any competition?
Well, of course, we're sure that we're one of a kind, right? But there are competitors. Um, the competitors are based in Israel, in the UK, and in the US. There are three other companies, Light Cyber, Cyfort, and Vectra Networks. They're trying to deal with the problem in a different approach than us. They're trying to build a profile that actually detects if somebody moves from that profile. So, for example, if a teller arrives in 8 in the morning and leaves at 5, and in the next day you're going to arrive at 9 and leaves at 6, they're going to raise a flag because he's out of his profile, his regular profile. Now, this is not really usable for enterprises because then you get a lot of false positives. Because in enterprises, people are actually moving from one location to another, working in different hours on different machines. Our approach is actually an approach of decision trees that are not based on their regular behavior. And that's actually the main thing that makes us special compared to the current competition.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Fenrir 7. Thank you so much. It's great. It's great that. Oh, you've already gone. Okay. Anyway, I was just going to say I hope he was going to join us for the rest of our event because we're actually live streaming to Tel Aviv as well. And I really wanted to know behind him, was that a window with a drawbridge? Was that a real bridge behind him, or was it just a painting? I've got some good news. In fact, those of you that are on Twitter. We're actually trending 3rd place in Germany. So across the whole of the country, this event here, #DemoDayFFM, is actually trending in Germany, and we're actually 3rd place in the whole country, which is pretty cool for such a small event. Perhaps by the end of the day, end of the evening, we might even make it to 1st place. Right, I think, and I'm sure you agree with me as well, we're ready for our next startup pitch. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for pitch number 5, and that simply is Pronteo.
Hey guys, my name is Alexander Mendelssohn. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Pronteo. And I want to ask you, have you ever experienced a moment when you came home from work, from a long day of work, and you're going through the stairwells and you're smelling that great food your neighbor is cooking? And then you go to your room and you look into your freezer and you just see a frozen pizza. And then you probably order some junk food. Well, I have experienced that, and I'm glad that I had the chance to live with my co-founder now, Max, who's a passionate cook. And I always used to give him some money for the ingredients so that he had his cost covered, and I got to experience this great food. So one day, over a couple of beers, we decided, so why should I be limited to only consume his food, and he should be limited to only share this food with me? This is how we came up with Pronteo. And yeah, why do we think this model works? And this will work everywhere, internationally, Germany-wide. As you have seen in the recent years, platforms such as Airbnb or BlaBlaCar, where you either offer a space in your room or in your car, are growing very fast. You saw it in the presentation before, where some guy raising money for the salad in the food, like his own food, got 50,000 euros or dollars. So this is why we think this market for food is even bigger. And I show you the market. The market in Germany is 191 billion. And only 1% nowadays is spent online. But this number is growing by 20.5% year over year. Well, what's our initial market as a startup? We start out in Frankfurt. This is a 2.2 million market in our case. And we want to dominate that market by year end of 2017. As you probably saw, the food market is now very special and all the startups are going there. But the most startups are focusing on food delivery or sending some food boxes. Well, almost nobody is focusing on the community. And this is our special ingredient. This is our unique selling point. We are bringing together the cook and the people who don't have time to cook for themselves. It's simple. You just upload a photo of your favorite food, let the neighbor see it, and as a neighbor you go pick up the food at your neighbor and get to know him. And this is how community is created. This is how people get to know each other. So what have we achieved so far? We began in September when we were part of the Accelerator Frankfurt and got our first clients. We made ourselves a domain expertise in homemade food. We have thousands of people who are following us on social media. We have around 400 cooks in the pipeline and people just waiting for us to start to launch our official launch of the website in February. We have built a scalable infrastructure for our website, and we will launch in February. So who are we actually? Yeah, probably we look a little bit younger here, or with less beard, but we really had no time to shave in the last month. It was a pretty rough time. Our friends from Accelerator Frankfurt pushed us very hard, and we put all our money and resources into that. Had our family on board. We did everything, and now we want you to invite to be a part of us. We have experience in gastronomy, in already built some successful startups, and also had some experience in e-commerce and IT. Well, what our goal in the next year? We are closing soon our pre-seed round of 150,000 euros. What do we want to do with this money? We want to launch our app in April, iOS and Android app. We want to have 1,000 customers by the year end, and we want to dominate Frankfurt. So if you feel that you're the right one, if you believe in our vision, that soon, in 5 or 10 years, this is coming, this will be the standard, that everybody will share his food in Germany and everywhere in the world. And if you want to be part of this and join us in the beginning, then come to speak to us. I'm Alexander Mendelssohn. We are Pronteo. Cook, share, enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pronteo. Okay, let's hear what our jury members think of Pronteo.
Hi, just tell me, what's the average cost of a meal?
The average cost for a meal is around 10 euro, what we have seen so far. But the cooks decide how much they will want to price it. So you have cooks who just love to share the food, and they give it almost for free, for very less of money. Other people price the ingredients, so they have the cost covered. So this is, but from our experience, people price it around 7 to 10 euro.
No, go ahead. Thanks. How do you deal, I think I asked you about 3 months ago, how do you deal with regulation issues? Things are being regulated in the food industry, and here, if it works, if it succeeded, then it will be a huge thing, but you need to think about that.
Thank you. Max will answer this question. He's an expert.
I'm not really an expert, but we work very close with our lawyers from Byte & Booker together, and they gave us a great detailed work why our business model works in Germany and the clue how we are able to shave nearly every problems we could get with taxes or the hygiene problem is that if you get a part of Pronteo from our community, it's like a private business. It's like going to people's home, to friends. And that's why we are not like a restaurant where it's public. Everybody can enter it. We are a community, and that's why we can shift the problem, because not everybody has access to this. But I would be pleased to talk in detail about those issues if you have any other questions.
So you talked about competitors. Is this the only version in Germany and Europe?
Of course, there are competitors. There are some platforms which are offering like food at the host place. We do it as takeaway, and we have found that worldwide these platforms are growing like 10 times fast because people don't usually have so much spare room, and they can do it this much often like on our platform. And there are companies in France, in Belgium, in UK, Australia, USA, who are already received funding for this. This is working. They are growing like 10,000.
And this, I'm afraid, as well, I have to stop you there just to make it fair for everybody else. Ladies and gentlemen, please, hands together for Ponteo. There we are. Our fifth startup team there, from a team that were working so hard, they didn't have time to shave, except this man here. He certainly did. You've been working a lot harder than him. Right, we move on. We move on. And I'm just thinking, in 6 months' time, as I was standing here, an image went through my head. If you didn't have time to shave, and your beard is, may I say, quite beardy. In 6 months' time, I wonder how long it will be if you continue to work so hard. Right. We move on. We move on to our next pitch. Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready now for pitch number 6, and that simply is Schnell Spesen.
Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tobias. I'm co-founder and CTO of Schnellspesen. Thank you. We facilitate dealing with the expenses that occur on business trips. Business trips, such as you undertook one to come here, or a business trip such as the 180 million business trips Germans take each year. And this number becomes even more impressive if you consider the cost it takes to deal with the expenses. The cost to deal with one trip is 62 euros. And a large factor in this cost is that there's a conflict between different stakeholders. There, on the one hand, are the travelers, and they understand, of course, their own travel, but they are not really good at filling out expense forms. They often make mistakes. They don't know the rules. Also, most people who have to fill out expense forms really, really hate it. On the other hand, there are clerks in the company and accountants. And their main concern and their main problem is to fill out everything correctly and do the accounting correctly. But they are not familiar with what has happened in the travel. So if this is such a huge problem in the companies, of course, there are a lot of other companies providing solutions to make this go away. And the oldest solution for this, and it's still available, is the paper form. And a quick nod to the keynote, this actual paper form, for people who don't have printers, you can order this on Amazon, right? What a great innovation. But of course, there's also real innovation. We have better computers today than we had some decades ago. So today we have these paper forms on our computers and on our phones. This comes with some improvements, like form checking, right? So you don't make any formal errors. So you check how much digits the text number has, right? It's quite annoying for the employees who have to fill it out because they can no longer hand in incorrect forms. But it's somewhat good for the accountants because they get more correct data. But for some of you, for a select few, there's an even better solution already available today. It's fundamentally different. Some of you might have the luxury of a personal assistant, and they are perfect for bridging the gap between the traveler and the accountant. Because, of course, a personal assistant is familiar with the travel of their boss. They are also very good at filling out the forms. So we said we want to do this. We don't want to do the paper forms on the computer. We want to take your personal assistant and put it in a computer. So our personal assistant will have to do two things. Gather the data from you, just like you would take your receipts and hand them over to your assistant, and then understand what has happened and match it against the tax rules and the company policies. And if there are any problems, we have to resolve them as automatically as possible. And if there's anything still remaining, such as missing information, we want to communicate that naturally, just like your personal assistant. For the traveler, it looks like this. You can enter your receipts, you can validate the data, and then, say in this specific case, we need to find out when a travel has ended. And unlike a form that asks the same questions every time, we only ask questions if they're really necessary. So we ask this question, you answer the question, the form is filled out for you, and you can submit it directly to the accounting department, where it can enter the company books. So we thought a lot about this idea, and then we were admitted to the Accelerator Frankfurt. And then in the last 4 months, we've been working very hard on this. We found people who want to work with us and make this really great. We found partners who help to implement our solution. We developed a basic proof of concept that you have seen in the video. We secured office space in the Waben office. Thank you very much for that. And we also are setting up a tech for equity deal to further speed up our development. Now we're looking for an additional funding of 200,000 euros to grow our team and bring our solution to market. So if you want to end expense reporting as we know it and make it really, really awesome, and you want to work with Jan and me, please contact us afterwards. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Schnell Spessen. Right, let's find out more about Schnell Spessen.
Question, what does it cost to implement this system into a medium-sized business?
That's actually one of the questions we're trying to find out with our pilot that we are starting right now.
Can you talk a little bit about your technical background?
So, let's start with Jan. He has a business background, but he has worked at Google and has an understanding of how digitalization works in companies. And I have studied computer science and worked in machine learning. I'm one of those, but I already have a company, right? So, sorry. So yeah, I've got the software development background and familiar with machine learning. And during my time as a student, I led a freelance project for a major bank, developing an information system that provides them with actionable management information.
Can you tell us a little bit about your competitors? I know that there is one company in the US, Expensify. I mean, what is the similarities or differentiation with this company, and what about geographics?
So, as we said, there are new software evolving. For example, Concur, which is now 10 years old, but also Expensify, as you mentioned, in the US. Expensify is a mobile application to handle expense management. But what Expensify and all other solutions do is they help to improve the process of handing information from the traveler to the accountant. But what we want to do, we want to be the accountant and facilitate the whole process without many stakeholders being involved.
Some more questions?
Okay, I think that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, hands together for Schnell Spessen. Right, already that was pitch number 6. Already 6. 2 more to go. What's your favorite? Again, let us know. Hashtag DemoDayFFM. Let us know what you think. The ones that you thought were good, not so good, really good, or not really good. Up to you. Right, we move on now to pitch number 7. Ladies and gentlemen, hands together for pitch number 7, which is simply called Secured Touch.
Guten Abend, good evening, shalom. My name is Chen Lano. I'm the VP Global Sales and Biz Dev for Secure Touch. So this is going to be a very accelerated talk, trying to sell, pitch, and raise money all in one nutshell, all right? About SecureTouch. SecureTouch was founded in 2014 by veterans of the IDF cyber units. We are one of the pioneers and one of the leaders in the area that we call mobile identification or mobile authentication based on behavioral biometrics using advanced machine learning algorithms. The company is backed up by two of the leading cyber funds in Israel. One of them is Elron, and the other one may be a little less famous. It's called RDC. It's actually the civil investment branch. It's actually the civil investment branch of Rafael, the very, very famous defense industry, famous for the Iron Dome and the other missiles, a quite well-known company. The solution is commercially available. We're already deployed in one of the largest banks in Israel, and I'll talk about that in a few moments. Oh, okay.
If you stand here,
We don't want to hide the accelerator.
If you stand right here, you'll be in a perfect spot.
Here, right here.
A little bit more.
A little more.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Wonderful. So a commercial deployment, as I pointed out, we're currently deployed in one of the largest banks in Israel. In fact, the second one in their digital wallet. So what's the solution all about? The solution is actually about the way we interact with our phone, the way we touch the phone, the way we flick, the way we tap, how we hold the phone, how we incline it. We're actually taking advantage of all these behavioral parameters, all these behavioral characteristics in order to create a profile and be able to authenticate you in real time. As opposed to older, more conventional, archaic authentication techniques, like something that you know, like a password, or something that you have, which is your fingerprint or your machine, we are actually characterized, or we belong to a segment that we call something that you are or something that you do. And our key market segments are mobile banking, e-commerce, also enterprise applications, and last but not least, also device manufacturers. So what's a general architecture? Basically, we're supplying two major elements, two major parts. We're supplying an SDK that we integrate with a phone in a very seamless, very, very quick way with any mobile banking app or any e-commerce app. This SDK actually taps and takes advantages of the parameters or the different sensors on the phone. We collect the data, such as gyroscope, accelerometer, velocimeter, the way you hold the phone, part of the information on the phone itself. We create a profile in about 4 or 5 sessions of about a minute and a half each. We already create a profile of the user in a very seamless, transparent manner. We send that information to a server, and in that server, we can validate in real time and authenticate the user for the bank, the e-commerce, or any other application. So as you can see here, basically an SDK that we integrate with the phone, basically talking to our server, from the server to the bank server or e-commerce server, and from that point on, you can validate the customer in real time. So what are the major solution highlights or the major advantages of this new cutting edge or this new authentication technique? First of all, it is continuous, as opposed to other authentication techniques, which are only one time. When you log in the application, the behavioral biometric is the only solution currently that you can authenticate a user continuously from the moment that he logs in till the moment he logs out of the application. The second important point is that it's fully transparent to the user, which means even the onboarding process and the authentication is done seamlessly and continuously throughout the process. Third important point, it's hardware independent. As opposed to fingerprinting, we do not depend on the phone. We can actually be integrated on the early generations of Android and the early generations of iPhone. And last not least, it's fully plug and play. As you can see, one of the other interesting advantages and side effects of this technology is our grand and great ability to distinguish and tell apart between human interaction and machine interaction. One of the major threats nowadays, one of the major problems that enterprises, e-commerce companies, and even banks have to deal with is the fact that there is a lot of automated attacks, a lot of what we call bots. And this technology, in fact, for some of the users, allows them to identify immediately whether it's a human interaction or a machine interaction. As you can see from the first 7 slides, seven first prints on the left, they're all human interactions printed on the server. And the last one on the right-hand corner is actually a machine interaction. So in a nutshell, if we had to summarize the major advantages between this technology and older techniques, It's the fact that we are authenticating the user throughout the whole process. The fact that it's really difficult to mimic, to use Trojan horses or other techniques to try to hack into the solution, because we're collecting about 100 parameters in total. And again, we're reducing friction. We are completely private. We're not keeping any private data on the system.
I'm afraid.
And I'm
is where
finishing.
I'm sorry.
And we're fully hardware independent. And thank you. Don't be sorry.
Fantastic.
That's
Ladies
life.
and gentlemen, put your hands together for Secured Touch. Okay, let's hear from our jury members and dive a little bit more into the background of Secured Touch.
Two questions. One is, what is the rate of false positive of this technology? And what is your traction outside of Israel?
So that's a very, very good question. First of all, we've been recently benchmarked by one of the leading chip manufacturers in the world in the mobile area. And our technology actually surpassed the 93, 94%, which is way beyond the academic recommendation. And the second question, apart from the deployment that we had in Israel, we are currently in very advanced commercial stages of POCs with very banks, Italy, US, Singapore, Australia, and also starting some activities here in Germany with the help and the assistance of the good friends here, Ron, Maria.
I was curious, are you looking for investment? And if so, what's the ticket?
So we raised, the first seed fund was about 3.3. We're now actually starting in the course of February around probably 8 to 10. That's what we're looking for. Any volunteers?
Any other questions? No? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hands together for Secure Touch. Well done. Right, guess what? We're already on our last pitch of this session before we go for a break and a drink as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, put your hands together for pitch number 8, and that simply is Vroomer.
So hello, everybody. My name is Christian, and I'm co-founder of Vroomer. I'm here with my colleague Guido, and we are the guys who stick the rate to the car. And that is literally what we do. We stick the rate to your dream car so that you can drive home vroom, vroom with your dream car. The rest is only technicalities. And actually, it's even more, to be precise, it's not one rate, it's many rates. Because you can have different financing options for your car, and it's very hard to find today. This is relevant for most people. Most of you don't have as much cash on your account to buy a car. 2/3 of all people really go for financing and leasing. And today, especially for used cars, pre-owned cars, this is really an odyssey. It's a nightmare. You only get offerings one by one. You go to the car dealer, go financing rates, you go to the next car dealer, go for financing rate, go to comparison platforms. You always get only one rate for one car. And we have solved that for an end-to-end solution. And in this way, Vroomer is unique. It's unique in Germany, it's unique in Europe, and probably even beyond. We are the new way to car financing. You set the budget, and we find the cars at the best rate for you. This is a preview into the new version of our site, which we're going to launch in the next couple of days. You enter all your preferences on your car, you do your individual settings, and you say, I want a car maximum 250 euro per month, a specific down payment, and then within seconds, you get the entire car market in front of you with your personal individual rates. You can come with your individual car, or you just have access through us to the entire car pool of AutoScout. And more importantly, this really not only goes from low to high, it's various products. There's no platform in the market that offers all financing products on one platform at your fingertips. Process, very easy. As seen, car, budget, product, and then 2 more steps. You open the parking lot on our platform. You put in your data. and you get an online check on credibility and feasibility of your financing. If that's okay, you receive a loan contract for 3 cars, and you just go to the dealer, do your test drive, and then sign 1 contract, all done. That is now 8 minutes versus 8 hours earlier. This is really a tremendous improvement. You get lower rates, even if you compare it to online platforms today, like comparison platforms. You can do it from your sofa, and you go empowered to the car dealer. And that is important because you can even go for a cash discount at the car dealer. Huge market, car financing, second largest financing decisions. I have been part of the team doing the first largest financing decisions at Interhyp, and now we go for the second one, which is car financing. Huge market, young pre-owned cars, 1.5 billion transactions per year, 1 billion fee wallet. What is Rumor technically? We are a financing broker, we are a licensed broker, offering top financing, and these are the partners that we have on board already. So these guys trust our model and believe that it's interesting. And we have a top car pool because we have almost all cars in the market through our partner Autoscout. We are not a car dealer, so we don't sell cars. We sell financing. We are not a classified site, and we are not a comparison site. We are solving the solution, we are solving the problem for you to find the best rate for your car. It's unique in a sense, it's a traditional broker model, so it's pure fee, no credit risk, low working capital. It's a platform, of course. We started B2C, but we have seen the demand for B2B already. We are in talks with large banks on that. It's scalable internationally, and there is also some interesting stuff. The next round, if you will, it's big data, car and client intelligence. We know the client and we know the car. There's nobody but us who knows that. We get fees per ticket, which means we are getting 500 to 800 euro by the banks for each loan that we bring to them. So that's our business model. Team experienced in all fields that are necessary. And where do we stand? We have started a soft launch last year. We have all the products available now for banks, full process, full IT, performing, and we are now turning into conversion and scaling. And that's why we're looking for additional funding. We are currently looking for 800,000 K, of which 300 are committed already. And so you have the choice. Either you invest or you become the client at rumor.com. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, pitch number 8, Rumor. No, if you could give your microphone to the young lady there. There we are. And now questions from our jury members.
Can you give us maybe details of what you are aiming for in terms of turnover, let's say in 2 years from now?
Yeah, thank you, Emmanuel. Yeah, what we look for in 2 or 3 years is around 2% of the market, which would be the equivalent of around 30 to 40,000 cars per year, multiplied by 500 to 600 euro. So it's an interesting model to invest in.
You mentioned B2B. Can you expand a little bit on that?
Yes, there are kind of 2 ways. Rumor itself is a B2C platform, so you go to rumor.com and you can experience that. But of course, we have been also approached by car dealers who said, yeah, why can't I put in my cars here? And that is very easy because if they put in their Autoscout ID, they can have this use the same platform just for their cars in their backyard and talk with the client about the car, get automatically the financing, the monthly rate, and the client can really just sit on the sofa and start his financing and not talking about financing with a car dealer. So that is an MVP we already started, B2B, and we are talking with large financing institutions who want to push that also into the market.
What are the specifics of when you take a decision to go international? I mean, how do you pick not only the market size, but how do you pick the dynamics of the specific geographies you want to go to? Because in Germany, you have approach to all the elements of the market. Is it automatically in other markets?
Certainly, it's not automatically in other markets, but we have good access. For example, one of our partners is an international bank, a pan-European bank. Autoscout, our carpool partner, is internationally active, at least in European markets. But how would we pick? Our model is in particular interesting in cash flow-oriented markets. So in fact, that would be certainly a decisive factor. So not wealth, but cash flow orientation.
Are you already cash flow positive, and what do you need in order to grow? Because it seems like it's working.
So it's working, but we're not cash flow positive. No, it's really, we are a startup, so we are beginning. So we know the platform works, we know that marketing works. We are now in the terms of showing the conversion, and then it's growth, growth, growth. So I think there's a kind of balance we need to find between really focus on one hand side and growth on the other hand side, and probably also depending on investors, this could be different routes. So I think Germany is attractive as a standalone market. B2B is attractive in Germany, but of course, if there is a strong pull into other markets, there's no reason not to go into them, as long as we can manage, or we have the team that can really manage it.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our final pitch. Number 8. There's no time left, but he's taken the microphone. He doesn't care.
Being the last pitch from Frankfurt Accelerator, I want to thank particularly Maria and Ram, who were great initiatives of this program. And I guess I speak in the name of all participating startups here. Thank you.
Fantastic. Right. So there we have it. There are our first 8 pitches. What did you think? Quite a different mix of different ideas, each one of them thinking they've got the next big thing coming. Remember, after the break now, we're going to have a break now for 30 minutes. 30 minutes. That'll give us all a chance to grab something to drink, go to the bathroom perhaps, start a conversation with somebody as well. And when we come back after 30 minutes, we'll have another set of 6 new big ideas ready to share with you here in this room. So join us 30 minutes time, grab a drink, and we'll start the second session in 30 minutes time.